What if the story of the Knights Templar didn't end in flames in 1307, but instead continued in secret for more than 400 years? What if a hidden network of families carried Templar treasures across the Atlantic, long before Columbus, with a mission to build something radical, a free nation in the West? And what if the evidence for this mission exists in a series of mysterious journals spanning 417 years? Tonight we follow the story of the Sinclair and Wemyss journals, documents that, if true, would rewrite the hidden origins of the United States of America. On Friday, October 13th, 1307, something extraordinary happened across the Kingdom of France. Before sunrise, royal agents moved simultaneously through cities, villages, and commanderies. Armed men surrounded Templar strongholds. Doors were broken down, knights were dragged from their beds. The Knights Templar, one of the most powerful organizations in medieval Europe, had been suddenly declared enemies of the crown. King Philip IV of France accused them of heresy, corruption, and blasphemy. Confessions were extracted under torture. Trials followed. Executions came soon after. To the outside world, it looked like the complete destruction of the order. But there was a problem. Many of the Templar ships stationed at the port of La Rochelle were gone, and so was the legendary Templar treasury. For centuries, historians have asked the same haunting question. Where did it go? In the days surrounding the arrests, witnesses reported unusual activity at La Rochelle, one of the Templar Order's most important ports. According to later accounts, a fleet of ships quietly left the harbour. No official records describe where they sailed, but speculation exploded across Europe. Some believed the treasure had been hidden in Scotland, a kingdom currently at war with England and outside papal control. Others believed the ships carried something even more valuable than gold, documents, knowledge, and perhaps the blueprint for rebuilding the order somewhere beyond the reach of European kings. This is where the story begins to intersect with a powerful Scottish family, the Sinclairs of Rosslyn. At the time of the Templar Purge, Scotland was in open rebellion against England. King Robert the Bruce had been excommunicated by the Pope, which meant something remarkable. The papal order to arrest Templars did not apply there. Legend holds that fleeing Templars found refuge in Scotland and later fought alongside Robert the Bruce at the Battle of Bannockburn in 1314. Whether or not that story is true, one structure built by the Sinclair family would later become central to Templar mystery lore. Rosslyn Chapel. Constructed in the 1400s, the chapel is famous for its elaborate carvings and cryptic symbols. Some researchers claim these carvings contain hidden references to Templar knowledge, sacred geometry, and even plants from the New World. If true, that would imply contact with the Americas before Columbus. But the mystery deepens further with the appearance of a controversial collection of documents, the Sinclair/Wemyss journals. According to claims surrounding these documents, the Sinclair-Wemyss journals consist of 20 books written across 417 years, from 1353 to 1770. They are said to be written in Latin, Old English, and later, Modern English. If authentic, they would represent one of the most extraordinary continuous historical records ever discovered. The journals allegedly describe a long-term mission carried out by 15 generations of two Scottish families. Their objective: to establish a sanctuary far to the west, a place where Templar ideals, religious independence, free governance, and protection of sacred knowledge could survive. And according to the claims, that sanctuary was not in Europe, it was across the Atlantic in North America. The idea of Europeans reaching North America before Christopher Columbus is no longer controversial. We now know the Vikings established a settlement at Lanceau Meadows around the year 1000, but claims of medieval Scottish voyages to the Americas remain far more debated. One figure frequently mentioned in these theories is Henry Sinclair, a 14th century Scottish noble. According to later narratives, Sinclair may have sailed to North America around 1398. Supporters point to several pieces of circumstantial evidence. carvings at Rosslyn Chapel, the controversial Xeno map, a disputed document describing a voyage to lands west of Greenland, and oral traditions in parts of Nova Scotia. None of these prove the journey definitively, but the Sinclair Wemyss journals claim something far more dramatic. They suggest that voyages west were not isolated adventures. They were part of a planned mission lasting centuries. According to descriptions of the journals, the families believed they were guardians of a sacred responsibility. The Templar treasure, whatever it consisted of, had to be protected from European powers. Gold, sacred relics, possibly even secret documents. The journals reportedly described transporting parts of this treasure to safe locations across the Atlantic. The goal was not immediate colonization. Instead, the mission stretched across generations. Each generation would continue the work, mapping, building alliances, establishing hidden sites, preparing the foundations for a future state based on principles of liberty. Centuries later, those principles would appear in a familiar place, the political philosophy of the American Revolution. Within the claims surrounding the journals is a powerful idea, that America was not simply discovered or founded. It was planned. The journals allegedly refer to something called the Covenant, a long-term agreement to establish a free society beyond the control of European monarchies. Some modern researchers claim this covenant influenced later political thinkers in the American colonies. Figures like Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, and Thomas Jefferson were all deeply interested in classical philosophy, secret societies, and Enlightenment ideals. Washington himself was a Freemason, an organization often linked, rightly or wrongly, to Templar traditions. But historians emphasize something important. There is no widely accepted historical evidence proving that the American founders inherited a literal Templar treasure or mission. Still, the idea remains deeply fascinating, because it raises a larger question. Could ideas travel across centuries in hidden ways? History is filled with secret networks, underground religious movements, hidden resistance groups, secret correspondence between revolutionaries. So the idea of families protecting knowledge across generations is not impossible. But extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. The Sinclair Wemyss journals remain controversial because they have not been widely authenticated by mainstream historians. Many scholars treat the story cautiously. Others view it as part of a larger tradition of Templar mythology, which has grown enormously over the centuries. And yet the mystery continues to attract researchers. Because if even a small portion of the story were true, it would change how we understand the origins of the modern world. Stories like this endure for a reason. They combine three powerful human fascinations: hidden treasure, secret missions, and the idea that history might contain layers we have not yet uncovered. The disappearance of the Templar treasure in 1307 is still unresolved. The carvings of Rosslyn Chapel still puzzle researchers, and the possibility of early Atlantic voyages before Columbus continues to inspire debate. Perhaps the Sinclair Wemyss journals are misunderstood. Perhaps they are symbolic. Or perhaps they preserve fragments of a forgotten story. Either way, they remind us of something profound. History is not just a record of what we know. It is also a landscape of mysteries waiting to be explored.